of the United States? That's North
South-
Carolina?
It's south of North Carolina. Yeah,
So
like
North Carolina, South
you've
Carolina,
and then
and then you.
and then Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Georgia goes all the way to the coast, but we're a little more on the west side. Like, I think we're about 4 hours from like Muscle Shoals, 4
Right.
hours south of Nashville, southeast of Nashville.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
Do you like a 4-hour drive? I mean, you know that in the UK, 4-hour drive, you're more than likely in the sea or in a different country. What's that been like? That adjustment of like a because I've spoken to loads of people in the States, and they're like a 4-hour drive for us is nothing.
There's nothing. Yeah.
So what was that? Was that like an adjustment, or was that just like, oh no, that's fine, man?
You know, it's weird. Like when you're driving in the UK, 4 hours. I mean, it's traffic that kills you, right? Like,
Yeah.
And I've not been back for a couple of years now, but I've just heard that like the M25 is a mare. Like if you go anywhere near it, you're stuck you might as well take your camping kit because you're stuck for days. Whereas like when you're over here, like you can reliably do like 250 miles in 4 hours.
Wow.
You know, like, so you make, I mean, it's a massive country, so you just keep driving. Like during lockdown, we did a research trip for my wife's book, and we drove from Milwaukee, where we were staying. We camped everywhere because all the hotels were shut down. We drove from Milwaukee all the way to California, and then up the West Coast, all the way to Seattle, and then all the way back to Milwaukee. And we were just driving, like we drove through, like up past Salt Lake City. We drove through part of Wyoming.
Right.
It's like driving on the moon. And it was just a straight, like the road was just straight.
Yeah.
It said, you know, like continue straight for 200 miles. And you think, all right, well, just stay on the road. No, it's just straight.
Yeah.
It disappears. It's gone. It's crazy. So yeah, it takes a bit of getting used to, but I've been here a long time now, so I'm pretty used to it.
How long have you been there?
9 years now.
9 years. Wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Do you miss the UK?
I miss a lot about it, but I don't miss the price of living, the cost of living.
Yeah.
The kind of like I couldn't have bought a house in the UK. We bought a house last year here, you know, and there's a lot of work for musicians, especially in Atlanta, man. Like the scene is vibrant and there's a lot of money flying around. And, you know, you can kind of pick and choose what you want. And, you know, I've been in a process of saying yes to everything for, you know, a good while.
30 years.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've got, still got zero self-worth, so I'll say yes to a gig for a $5, sure.
Sure, I've got nothing on.
Yeah. But no, I'm like, it's just a different, it's very different, but I miss family, I miss friends, you know, all the stuff. But yeah, man, I love it over here. I can't imagine being back in England without, like, you know, a significant amount of money so that I could, you know, afford to exist, because it's just so damn expensive.
I know, man. I think it was just before you moved. I think we spoke about doing a gig somewhere, and I phoned you up and said, you know, what time do you need me to arrive? And yeah. And you said that you're in the middle of painting houses.
Yeah, I was.
I was like, man.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
Just too fucking expensive.
It just needed more money. It's like
fucking crazy.
Well, and you know, it's funny, like when you've been chasing the original music for a long time, and you've had record deals, and record deals go down in a steaming, burning shit of a flame, again and again. Like it has a knock-on effect in terms of like your financial stability and all that stuff, because you've had to say yes to things to even get those opportunities. And, you know, you aren't necessarily the most reliable person. So you stop getting called as much just to further your own original career. And that's got its own set of, you know, knock-ons that means sometimes you got to bring in the cash from other things than music, you know? Yeah,
of course. I mean, you do what you got to do.
Right. Exactly.
So are you, I mean, now you're in the States, are you still doing original stuff, or is it more session work? Yeah.
Well, I'm doing a lot of different stuff. I've got an EP that I recorded. God, I've been sitting on it for far too long. People keep telling me to put it out. I probably should, but I just don't really know how to do it.
Right.
I just don't get it anymore. And I'm like, maybe I should just put it out. And I've got a group of guys together here in Atlanta who would play it. Yeah, I'm just getting back into writing now, and I'm doing a lot of starting to do some kind of writing for the publishing side of things.
Okay.
To just try and get a little money by mail.
Yeah.
And then I'm in 6 bands right now.
Okay.
And then one of those,
list them off.
2 of them tour. 3 of them tour. All right, so I play guitar for Yola, which is kind of I see it as my main gig right now, and she is, 6-time Grammy nominated artist. She's actually from Bristol, but she's over here.
Fucking hell. All right, okay.
And she's amazing, and she did 2 records with Dan Auerbach with that record label, and she's in the process of working out a new deal right now, not with them but with a new company, and she's got an EP done, and she's going to turn that into an album, and then we'll be in the album cycle for that end of this year into next. So I'll play with them. I got a call from Jerry Shirley from Humble Pie and Dave Colwell from Bad Company, who's playing in Humble Pie, and they hired me to be the singer for Humble Pie.
Nice.
So we did a tour last year, and we're waiting to hear about what our year looks like next year. And then I'm in another band called the Troubadour Project, which I am conveniently wearing the swag from because I just exist in, swag these days. Yeah. And that's it's a cover band. We do late 60s to kind of late 70s rock and roll.
Nice.
And I joined the band this year, and it's been really fun. It's a really great group of players. We've got Tim Smith, who plays bass and guitar with Sheryl Crow's in the band, and a guy called Scott Patton's on drums. He plays with Sugarland and Jennifer Nettles and a bunch of people. It's been a cool gig because we're doing covers, but we're selling out 600 to 800 seater theaters. It's nice, man. It's kind of mad. So that band, and then I'm still doing wedding stuff in a band called Emerald Empire. Yeah. Which has been great. It's been a really nice way to meet kind of all the musicians in the scene. It's a really easy way of doing it. Who else am I playing with? Playing a band called Vinyl Machine here and there. And they are another 70s rock thing. Bunch of guys who were playing with Joe Walsh and a bunch of the vintage old session guys who were playing out with all the guys. I think I'm forgetting someone, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that you're busy, man. I mean, it's always lovely to play with you when you were back over here, and
right,
when you said that you were moving over to the States, it's like, oh man, so it's almost like you got to start from scratch. But it seems like there's so much going on that you just cast a net and see what comes back.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually, when we moved over, I took a year off music.
Okay,
mainly just to let my voice heal, because my voice was knackered.
Right.
And I was tired, and my record company, that deal was kind of going down the pan at that point. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bartend for a year and just let my voice heal and kind of take care of myself. And I did. And then it's been a rebuilding process since. But in the last few years, I've been busy, very busy.
Back on it.
Yeah,
that's good,
great.
Man. Cool. So how did you get into music? What was your road in?
I was a classical player.
Oh, really?
I was a classical flautist. I played flute from the age of 5. Yeah. Until about the age of 15, when my brother got a guitar for his birthday, and it seemed pretty cool. So I nicked it. Just started screwing around on that. And I started getting singing lessons from a guy called Nicky Moore, who's sadly no longer with us, but he was a fantastic singer and guitar player. He's in a band called Samson. Yeah. And I did about a year of singing lessons with him. And he called me one day and he said, "Hey, look, there's a band looking for a singer. I've recommended you. They're in North London." And I was living in Kent. I was 16. I was doing my GCSEs, I think, or I'd just done them. And they're looking for a singer. Do you want to go up and have an audition? By the way, they're writing with Pete Brown, who wrote Sunshine of Your Love and, White Room and all those bands, all those hits with Cream. So I said, yeah, sure. And I went up and I got the gig and I started bunking off school basically the next week. I used to go up, sneak up on the train and, use my the money that I was earning from Sainsbury's to get up and back to London during the school day for rehearsals. And get home. How was school, Jim? It's great.
Good.
Had a great time. It was really
man.
good. Yeah.
How long did that last before did you get caught or?
Oh yeah, I quit. I mean, I did GCSEs and then I started doing my A levels, and I was like, I was already working. I was already kind of in a scene, and I was writing songs with some pretty cool people, and I was like, I wanted to go to music school, or I thought I had thoughts about it, or I had thoughts about maybe doing some sound engineering or something. But I kind of looked at the school I was in and what they could offer, which was next to nothing in terms of any support for a guy who was trying to make his way into music. So I just said, sod it. And I quit school and headed up to London and started sofa surfing.
That's a rock and roll story.
It is. I know it is. It was fun. It was fun.
And so how did you kind of develop your voice? Was it something that just came naturally, or did you have to work towards it, or?
I think I could always sing.
Yeah.
I don't know that I sang healthily for a long time. I think in the last 10 years I've become a real singer.
Okay.
But I could always sing. I got that 1 year of lessons with Nikki.
Yeah.
And I worked at it every day. I was in a band who we treated it like a job. So we would be in the rehearsal room for 8 hours a day writing, trying to get better. And so I started to build up some chops just from that. And we started to gig out in London when I was 16, 17 in the clubs. I think my first London gig was at the Borderline and, all those kind of 100 Club and all those places. And, I could always sing, but I just started working as a singer, and it kind of kept going from there, really.
Okay.
Years later, I might think I might have trapped myself in it, but
And what about guitar playing? So when you think of yourself as a musician, do you think of yourself as a singer, as a guitarist, as a songwriter, or as a
singer first? A singer first. But I am getting work these days. I'm actually getting work as a guitar player. I've no idea why people hire me. I know guitar players like you. I know real guitar players, and there's lots of them out there, and I don't know why, but people have started to call me for that. But yeah, I'm working on mastering my second instrument, I suppose.
Cool.
And
do you think
I'm always working on it.
Do you think your accent has anything to do with it?
I think that's everything to do with it
in the States.
Yeah, except the main guitar gig I'm being hired for is for Yola, who's English. So I think I have no idea why.
Do you find that there's still, even though Americans and the people from the UK still speak English, there's a fucking huge divide between the language?
It's 100%. And
my wife
is same way.
She's like, she came over what you're talking about.
No, she came over to England for the first time. She was like, what are these people saying? I remember coming over to meet her family for the first time before we were even engaged, just when we were dating. And I think my now stepmother-in-law technically, was I think she was quite kind of confused as to how much we mumble as English people and how much slang there is in kind of our vernacular, rather than, they actually speak more correct English over here, because it's not devolved into the 50 million different accents and slang and dialects that we've got in England. Yeah, it's a big difference. But, these days I kind of slow it down just so I'm understood. A lot of people mistake me from Australia for being Australian too. I had that when I was there. And they said, where in Australia you're from? So I'm about 5,000 miles north of Sydney. Yeah, exactly. London.
So,
London, Australia.
And so like as a player, do you practice?
Yes.
Yeah,
All the time, every day.
that's good to hear, man. What do you
Yeah.
practice? What are you working on?
Well, so this is kind of weird, but I just started getting my nails acrylic
Okay.
because I was playing so much that I was wearing through my fingernails and
Yeah, my
exposing the
index
nail.
finger is fucked.
Right. It was, that kind of uneven wear.
Yeah.
And if you're playing like lots of gigs in a row, and like last year I did 200 gigs.
Yeah.
And 70% of them were acoustic gigs. So my hands and my wrists were just in pain all the time. So I've started getting acrylics put on. I was going to just put it on that nail. I tried to put vinyl on it or some sort of protection for a while. And I was like, it's not working. Still hurts. Sod it. I've seen a couple of guys do it. And I was like, well, I'm just going to get that one covered. And then I was there at the nail salon, which was my first ever time in a nail salon. And I was like, hang on. Jim Cregan used to do this thing. He plays with a pick and his fingernails.
Yeah.
Maybe I could do that. So I said, whack a couple on there and leave them a bit long. And so now I'm working on that technique and trying to kind of incorporate that into my playing, as well as just, this sounds really, really basic, but like true understanding of the guitar neck.
Yeah.
Like through the major scale.
Okay.
Is like such a basic thing for guys like you, I'm sure, who've been playing for years, but for a guy who's still making his way in, like I can read a chart, whatever, but like to really understand what I'm doing, I'm still working on that. I'm trying to put things together, and I'm doing a lot of playing along to songs that I've sung or listened to for years from the perspective of a singer. I'm going back now and learning all those guitar parts from all the guys that I like listening to, just to become somewhat of a guitar player.
That's cool, man. And what do you and how about singing? Do you practice singing?
Not so much, but I'm gigging probably 4 or 5 times a week. So my chops are always there at this point. I do have a pretty rigorous like vocal care routine and warm up exercise routine and warm down routine that I do, which used to be, sink 4 pints of Carling and go, and it's changed a lot since then. Although after the England game yesterday, I did play a gig and I might have had a couple of pints before that.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
So that's the weird thing is I think over the last year I've started doing more singing gigs, and I found that I'd like the start of the summer, I was doing 2 to 3 gigs a week.
Yeah.
And after about a month, my fucking voice gone.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, right. So I went to a singing teacher. Do you know Sabrina?
Yeah.
Sabrina Alton? She's afraid of Swannies.
I might have met her in a million years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, Drunken Haze in Brighton.
That's the only haze. That's how Brighton is.
Yeah. And anyway, so I went for a couple of lessons. I said, look, I'm doing. So I didn't think doing 2 or 3 gigs a week was a lot. And she's like, no, that's a lot.
Yeah.
If you're doing 2 hours a night, 3 times a week, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And she was like, what are you doing to warm up? I was like, well, I usually just start with really easy songs at the beginning.
Yeah.
And she went, yeah, you should be warming up. I said, what about warm down? I went, warm down? She went, yeah, are you warming down? No. She went, all right, okay.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, how do you stop yourself from losing your voice? What's your warm-ups and...
So I do this thing called straw phonation. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
You sing down a straw, basically.
Okay.
And I've got a very, very swanky set of straws that are designed for this, and they vary in diameter, and they're metal. And I sing through straws into water.
Okay.
And that there's a ton of science behind it, but the short version is the back pressure that's created by singing down the straw keeps your pharynx, and one, it helps it keep it in place, but it also makes your vocal folds do this rather than this. When they're doing that, that's where you get that cracking in your voice. Yeah. So it keeps them very, very healthy.
Okay.
And I do that. It depends on the gig. Like if I'm going to play like a restaurant or a bar, I'll do it in the car for 25, 30 minutes, and I'll do the same on the way home for my cool down.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I'm out on the road with Humble Pie, which is a hell of a singing ask. Like we did the last tour we did, I think we did 12 days on, 1 day off.
Wow.
You know, and the first song of that set is like in the rafters, and so I would do a much more. It's not like if I'm really like if I'm touring with that, it's a whole day process. Like everything I do throughout the day leads up to the moment I walk on stage and hit that first note. So it's the basics. It's hydration. Yeah. It's eating at the right times. It's waking my voice up slowly with blowing down, like singing down a straw. And a lot of it's really basic, like just to wake your voice up. I'm just going like, ooh, 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 just revving it, you know, and slowly expanding that. And because I do it over time, it keeps the stress out of it. Because the biggest thing I used to find if I do like a warm up and say I'm going on stage in an hour, right? Best start warming up then. You start to hyperfixate on what's going on in your voice, and you start to tense up if it doesn't happen because you start to get anxiety and stress. And none of that helps with vocalization. Like you want to be relaxed. So for a while I did what you did, and I stopped warming up altogether because I'm like, this is not working for me. Like I'm going on stage feeling tired and feeling stressed. So I would structure the set like you were. Yeah. But I would get tired after it. So I started to look into some other things, and Yola actually got me into this straw phonation, and it's changed my life. I mean, I did 200 shows last year. Yeah. A lot of them singing 3 to 4 hours. Wow. And you had no issues, no cracking? None. I'll look into that, man. Yeah. I'll send you a link.
Straw phonation.
Straw phonation, yeah. There's a company called The Vocal Straw, and there's two. Well, the main lady is a lady called Mindy Pack, and she is a pretty renowned vocal coach over here. She does Justin Timberlake and a bunch of people, and then another guy, and I can't remember for the life of me remember his name right now. I'd have to scroll through my Insta feed. All my Insta feed now is just vocal and guitar teachers. That's all it is. But like he takes care of Chris Stapleton and like a ton of people. Maggie Rogers, and they're all using this vocal straw. Okay. And it really it does all sorts of stuff for you, as well as just helping you warm up. It helps you like increase your range, the bridge between head and chest voice. It helps smooth that out. Like I don't have a click or a pop now between head and chest. And it helps, like my range has gone up to 4 octaves, I think, because it's nuts. Because
and you're not stressing on that, and you're not tired on that. It's all just taking it in your stride.
It's fine.
That's amazing.
I did a night. We did a night for Pride. I did a gig with the Atlanta Gay Men's Chorus. We did a whole night of Queen. Right. Okay. Went into I'm singing all the Freddie stuff in original key, and that was just one of the 6 gigs I had that week. Wow. And I didn't have a problem.
That is. I'll definitely look into that, man. That sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's super interesting. And like. I think it's like with everything, like even if it's a sport, like I'm getting into playing more tennis recently, and and I got into playing golf during COVID, and it's like whenever you tense up, it's crap, and as soon as you relax and just kind of let it like happen, like you start to improve and you start to understand where the technique is, and that's what like this kind of straw phonation has helped me do, is really relax. And I'm trying to make myself relax whilst taking guitar solos right now, because I feel myself just getting tight and cramping up, and I'm like,
here comes the difficult bit.
Yeah, and it's like, drop your shoulders, just hear it and play it. I have a thing on my pedal board that says hear it, play it, just to get myself out of my body.
I'll tell you what I was doing with guitar solos. I'd taken lessons because I really wanted to improve my picking technique, and I had lessons for 6 to 8 months, and really started to work on my picking. It was really kind of heading the direction that I wanted to, but that was all I was doing, was just focusing on technique.
Right.
And every time I came to improvise, all I would do was try and shoehorn all these techniques in.
Yeah.
I wasn't fucking playing anything.
Right.
And I was like, fuck, I can't improvise. I'm not playing music. I'm just playing exercises.
Yeah.
And I had to go, like you said, I had to go back to listening to old Hendrix records and just jamming along and just try and vibe with it. Don't try and get it note for note. Just vibe with it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like,
and find your style through that, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise you end up sounding just like Hendrix, and we've already got a Hendrix and a Stevie Ray and a million other guys who can do it. Like, what does that do?
Yeah. So it's interesting, like, because you can just get sort of laser focused on one thing, and then that one thing becomes everything.
Yeah, and it's funny, you know, like right now it's this picking thing, and like I'm doing it on purpose at very kind of low pressure gigs. I'm just like, you know, if I'm the musical wallpaper in a room and it doesn't matter, like who cares? Like they're not going to notice. But like I'll start like injecting it just to see if I can under like a little bit of pressure. You know what I mean? Just so that it starts to become natural. But yeah, like I feel like music is just a series of hyperfixations on the latest thing, you know, whether that's sounds, pedal boards, you know. Yeah. My pedal board's out of control right now. It's a problem.
Yeah, I scaled mine right back. I just
mine currently weighs 75 pounds.
Fucking hell. Yeah. I did I think it was
and I fly with it as well.
Yeah, just before COVID, I took mine my pedal board down to the guys called, do you know the Gig Rig?
Oh yeah.
I took him down there and I said, what I want is a stereo rig.
Oh yeah.
And he said, all right, okay, do you want clean and dirty or do you want wet and dry? I was like, I don't know. And he linked it all up and he said, right, this is what wet and dry sounds like. I was like, I'll go with that. That sounds really cool. He said, you just got your wet signal is going through this amp, then you got your dry signal going through that amp. I got it all sorted out and I got it all patched in. I've got a big switching system, and fucking COVID happened. The band that I was going to use to tour with it broke up. I was like, so I haven't used this board in like 4 years.
Man, yeah, I'm right there. Like I've got the whole Bus ES8 switching system.
Yeah, that's what I've got. Yeah, the ES8.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's great. Like every song with Yola's got its own bank, so I just like a sound change is just the next number. Yeah, which is great. But yeah,
it seemed overkill for doing it for functions and weddings.
Well, now, like, and I got to a point where I was just, you know, when you like, I've got so many different gigs that I was like tearing apart my board to try and just scale it down so that I'm not lifting as much. And I got to a point where I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to build one board that does everything. Yeah. And it's got a stereo electric, and it's got stereo electric routing and an acoustic routing as well. Yeah. See, the Americans slipped through that. Yeah. And then, you know, and I show up to rehearsals and they're like, oh, Jim's brought his surfboard, you know. It's like, it's so heavy, it's got wheels. It's a problem. But
man.
yeah, it's just, you know, like I say, the obsession. Well, I'm right now because I'm doing a lot of fly dates. So I'm like, damn it, I've got to get some sort of a profiling situation going on, like a Kemper or a neural. I'm looking at the neural DSP now. Just
that's on my list of things to get.
Yeah, I've heard a few guys using Kempers, and I always think they sound just a little overcompressed for me. Yeah, like the range is like here, and they're a little muddy, and they're not bad, but I don't know. The examples of neural DSP that I've heard have been great, and in fact, Ryan was over here with Architects, and I connected with him when he came through Atlanta, and they're all using neural DSP, and they really swear by it. Yeah.
I mean, they sound. I mean, I've got 3 or 4 of the plugins on my computer, and they all sound great. And it's just finding that extra £1,600 to drop on it.
God, I know. It's a problem. I'm going to see if I can try and pull a favor at some point and see if I can get some sort of artist pricing, but I doubt it. I'm sure I'll just have to, you know, drop the money. Yeah. So again. Yeah. Jim, what have you bought?
Nothing. I've had that for ages.
I don't know if you heard this company. I don't know if you've got it in England. It's called Sweetwater. Yeah. And it's every time, like, they send you your gear and they send little packs of sweets with your gear.
Really?
Yeah. So that's the giveaway. Like,
Oh,
if
you got more
Kerry
gear, haven't
sees
you?
Kerry sees a pack of sweets, like she's like, "What did you buy?
Yeah.
What did you do?" Nothing. I didn't do anything. It's
No.
just a pedal. It's just a pedal. It's okay. It's two pedal. It's a new. I bought
it's a
5
guitar.
guitars.
All right.
I found 5 guitars.
Yeah, no, I've had that for ages. Haven't you not noticed that?
You never
I've
saw
had
that
for
one.
ages. Yeah. If you buy secondhand gear, you can do that.
Yeah. The problem
Those
is you
tricks.
just buy more of it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, I've got this. I could spend. I've got all of this money available. I could spend just the thing that I wanted, or for the same price, I could get so much more. I might need this.
Yeah. The gear acquisition, it never goes away.
No, it's a problem.
And every time you get to the end of the month, you're like, oh, I've got no fucking money. I really shouldn't have bought that pedal. And the start of the month comes in, you're like, ooh, that Strymon's got a new pedal out. I wonder what that sounds like.
Man, I've managed to stay away from the Strymon thing, like, so far. Although their reverb pedal's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I do. I have just bought one, and it is on order, and it should be here tomorrow.
Oh yeah, is that the cut down version that they made?
I think it's called a Cloudburst.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's
cool.
They are good.
Yeah,
the other thing I was going to talk about is, what's your view on getting better, and what does it mean to you?
That's interesting. I suppose there's a few metrics, aren't there? Like, to me, it's like vocally, some of the stuff we've already talked about kind of springs to mind in terms of like your longevity and being able to sustain yourself, you know? But I'll give you an example as a guitar player. So when I joined this wedding band, and it's a huge organization. They're nationwide, but they're kind of broken up into different areas and different cities. So the band I play with is called the Emerald Empire Band, and they've got, like, on a Saturday night, 10 or 15 versions of that band out in one city. Like, they're busy. And then 4 hours up the road, they've got another few bands in Nashville doing the thing, and down in Florida, there's another version of the band doing it. Like, it's
man.
It's like one of the biggest wedding kind of organizations for music, like, in the country. And my friend Rich, who's also a Brit, he's from Blackpool, kind of said, "Look, are you looking for gigs?" I'm like, "Always." And I thought, "Oh, it's be easy. This just singing at weddings, great, you know." And there's at least 2 singers on the gig, so I'll be singing half the stuff. Perfect. Yeah. So we're coming up to the first gig, and I said, "Rich, there's no guitar player listed on the on the gig sheet. Like, who's doing that?" And I just got this text back: "You'll do fine." And like, I hadn't read a chart since I was a kid. Yeah. And neither was I a good enough guitar player. Like, my knowledge of the neck, like, a lot of this stuff is jazz stuff too. Was just not there. And so for me, like, the last 2 years have been there's been a serious change, which is being able to sight read pretty complex charts. And
are you talking about reading dots or just reading chord
charts? Reading charts, chord charts. You know, generally there's you get the set list, 2 or 3 days before the wedding. But that set list might have 50 songs in it. Yeah. And it's all from a kind of a roughly standardized book, but there's always requests and new additions. And for me, it's been like with singing now, I'm pretty comfortable. I feel like I can basically sing whatever I need to, or I can do a really good version of a thing. And I would love to be able to get there with guitar, but right now it's like I'm not panicking all the time. Like, I've practiced enough. And I continue to practice, but like, I'm actually like, no, some of this knowledge is sticking, because the thing that I would have been spending every spare minute of every day worrying about for whatever gig is on Friday or Saturday or both. Between like from then to like over the last couple of years, like now I'm like, I'll take a look at the set list the night before the gig, and I can just get my charts together, and like, if there's anything that I've not played, I'll listen to it down a couple of times, and I'm really feeling pretty comfortable about being like, yeah, cool, next. And that's a real marker for me of improving on an instrument that, I've always played, but I was never a player. Yeah. And I'm working at it, and that's been something that I continue to work on because I don't yet call myself a guitar player.
Okay.
But I'd like to get there, and I'm definitely improving bit by bit, you know.
Well, that's cool, man. I mean, I don't think like reading charts is not something that's ever really taught to people. There's no YouTube videos on how to read charts or how to write a chart out.
Right.
But I do it with my students all the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw a chart in front of you, see how you get on. I'll give you 2 or 3 minutes and go.
Yeah.
See how you get on. And then when you're up against that, or you have that click, or you have that ticking clock, that really highlights where you're weak.
Yeah.
And what you need to work on. So, all right, okay, so you don't know how to play C major 9 yet. You need to just go away and just figure that out.
Well, and the theory behind it, like, why is it a major 9? Why is it not an add 9? Like, what is this? You know, like, I'd never had a guitar lesson in my life, ever. I still haven't. And not necessarily through not wanting to, just not having the time, because I'm already working as a musician, and I'm like practicing for the next gig and the next gig and the next gig. And one of the things I'm looking forward to about being on the road, and like, because I'll be on the road, like when I come off the road, I might have a little spare time, is like being able to invest in myself again. I actually was talking to a company who what's it called, the Guitar Mastery Method or something like that. And it's essentially set up with a bunch of AI learning tools, but it's basically the Stanford guitar program, like on steroids. They kind of try and get you to kind of full neck fluency and mastery. And you have a one-on-one, mentor. And as I was saying to my wife just the other day, like, I've never had a mentor in music ever. Like, no one who's ever like kind of helped me make a decision at any point, or, you know, and so I'm really interested in that process, and really interested in doing that, and I'm hoping that, weirdly, working as a guitar player will buy me the time to become a guitar player.
Yeah, I mean, I think having a mentor and a teacher or a tutor, I think, is so important. And it's
agree.
It's great to like not only have someone sort of guide you the way that you want to go, but you can bounce ideas off them, and like, what would you do in this situation if this chart was presented to you? How would you approach it?
Right. Yeah, and it's hard, and I think maybe I'm a bit stubborn. I never thought I was a very good student in school, and so maybe I've been a little kind of reticent to try it again, especially as you get older. You know, you get a bit stuck in your ways, but I think I'm definitely ready for that, and excited about it, you know, because, you know, if I'm investing all this money in these pedals,
I've got to know how to use them.
Maybe I'm compensating for something.
But I genuinely really enjoy having lessons or new lessons with new teachers, and having people point out, this is what you need to work. You need to work on this, because it all just guides you to being a better player. And then I think there are people that are open and receptive to that, and then there are people who are closed off to it. And I just think, if you really want to improve, you're going to have to sort of
I agree, and I think
yourself down a peg or two.
No, I agree, and I think it's also, you know, I mean, I've managed to get myself to an okay level. I'd call myself like a low intermediate guitar player, you know, but I've also, I think I've had an advantage in that I've always played with great guitar players. I've always sung next to them. I know how it's supposed to sound, you know, and so I do a pretty good job, excuse me, of like getting things pretty close, you know, but I think I rely a lot on my memory rather than like learning some of the theory behind it and really understanding like how to put that stuff together.
I think you'd be surprised as to how many other people do that as well. And I'm talking about pro players.
Oh yeah, I think they do. But I also think that there's some basic theory, a lot of which I've managed to pick up, you know, just from, well, okay, so, you know, some 14-year-old on YouTube who knows it better than I do. Do you know what I mean? Which is how I learn everything these days.
Stay away from those guys. It makes me sick.
Yeah, no, it's like, how do I do this in Pro Tools? Hang on, 15-year-old on YouTube, he'll know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that being receptive and wanting to learn, I think is key to getting better. If you want to get better, you've got to
totally
be a little bit humble and just sort of
Well, and I tell you what, there's nothing more humbling than being on stage with a bunch of killers and having just utter like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like as a singer, I don't get that.
Yeah.
But as a guitar player, I do. And I'm like, well, that means I've got work to do. And I'm okay with it. Like if I manage to get as good as I am at singing, on guitar, I'll feel pretty good, or anywhere close. I'll feel excited about it.
Yeah, that imposter syndrome is real.
Oh man, I
started doing theatre gigs this year.
Oh yeah,
so it's proper reading the dots with a conductor in a pit with an orchestra, and I'm like, I haven't got a fucking clue. I am winging this to shit. And the first one I did, really lucky. The first one I did was Grease, and it's just 12-bar blues for 2 hours. So I was like, I can wing this.
Yeah. Just key changes.
There was moments where they were like, okay, we're going to take this from and they'll be throwing out like all these terms that everyone's like, okay, we're all ready to go. I'm like, I don't know what that means. All right, do I stand up and say, what does that mean? Or do I just bite my teeth and hope I can get in with it?
Right.
But yeah, there was a couple of fly by the seat of your pants moments. But it's good, because when you finish, you're like, fucking did it. Did it.
And then you're like, okay,
what's
I'm
next?
going to look up what that is. I'm going to look up what that is. I'm going to learn all those things I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I'll be more prepared next time, right? I mean, like that's been my journey, is just a pretty full pretty full on trial by fire situations. And then like, okay, in what little off time I have, I'll try and fill in some of the gaps. But yeah, I would love to have some one-on-ones lessons, and just maybe you could help me out.
I could, man. Yeah, if you need whatever you need.
I'd love that, man.
If I can help, I will.
Yeah, I'd love it. It'd be great.
Yeah, man. Anything coming up over the weekend? What have you got coming up this week?
What day is it?
Monday. Is it Monday?
Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
I'm literally living by my calendar right now, man.
Yeah.
Gig tomorrow night, and then I'm giving a singing lesson to a buddy of mine.
Nice.
And then I travel, and then I fly to North Carolina. We're opening for Need to Breathe.
Okay.
They're a kind of an American modern country, I suppose you'd call them, with Yola.
Nice.
And then I fly back early Saturday, and then go straight out on a wedding gig that night, which is, always fun. It's kind of humbling and like mindset whiplash, but it's fun. You know,
what's the standard function wedding set look like in the States? Similar to over here?
Man, I mean, I don't know, because I don't know the last wedding I played in England.
I'm telling you now, not much has changed.
Okay, so it's all the same stuff.
It's still the same stuff. Mr. Brightside is still going strong.
Sir Duke, is that still rearing its head?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, I mean, like first set, like we do like a dinner set over here. When and so like there's a lot of jazz in that set, a lot of like jazz standards, slower stuff. Everything from Sinatra to Nora Jones to whatever, and then it kind of modernizes as we get towards that set. And then generally first set is oldies, the brown-eyed girls, or your
Johnny Be Good.
No, we don't touch that. No, Johnny Be Good doesn't make an appearance. I'm going to bring it up because I can't even tell you. But like, there's a lot of it changes. The songbook is about 200 songs. Isn't that bad? And it really runs the gamut. We do like everything from like Dua Lipa to Bruno Mars to obviously Mr. Brightside. We do that Walk the Moon song that everybody loses their mind for, Shut Up and Dance.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's pretty similar. Like there's probably some more country bits that we do over here. Like I don't see many people requesting Garth Brooks in England. No, right. But although the country thing is happening, it's starting to happen over there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've got friends that are doing.
Wasn't Morgan Wallen just over doing a massive gig in Hyde Park or something?
I don't know who that is. Yeah, a friend of mine was just He's just started up a band called the Nashville Band, and he's touring around the UK doing that. So
crazy.
Yeah, but I think country's always been a thing here, but it's always just been very on the down low.
Yeah. I think like the Americana side of it has made its way into the scene a lot more. Like guys like the Dunwells and people like that were doing it. But yeah, they're probably pretty similar, I would say. Here we go. Must know songs. So yeah, At Last, Fly Me to the Moon, all that stuff. Temptations, a bunch of Michael Jackson stuff, some James Brown, some Prince, Aretha, Stevie Wonder, Justin Timberlake, Beyonce. And then we go into some interesting stuff, like we do like TLC, and we do like No Diggity and stuff like that, which is kind of fun. It's fun. We do some Lizzo.
Yeah.
And then that song that refuses to die, Don't Stop Believing. Yeah. And then and we do have some Hispanic stuff too, because we have such a big kind of Hispanic population over here, so that pops up pretty regularly. And then kind of the Jewish wedding songs and all that stuff too.
Okay, right. Sounds like I could slip right in.
Yeah, you really could.
I could keep talking every now and again. We just because the weather here this summer has been so fucking shit.
Yeah,
me and my wife, we look outside and I say, you know what? It's 32 degrees in Arizona right now, and they get 300 days of sunshine.
Dude, cars are melting in Arizona. Yeah. Like, people are dying. It's nuts out there. It's crazy. Come to Atlanta, man. Atlanta's the spot. It's so green.
Do you know, I don't know. I was over in the States. I think I messaged you when I was in the States 2 years ago. I think we just missed. I was in Illinois.
That's right. Yes.
You would like, no, I'm down Nashville way.
I think I'd just been in Illinois though. I think I was on tour with Cactus.
Yes. Anyway, one of my friends out there, he's like, "So what's your plan for retirement?" I'm like, "I haven't got a fucking clue." I said, "Do you know what? I always had this vision that I'd retire in somewhere like Atlanta, Georgia."
Oh yeah, man.
And he's like, "Really? Why?" I was like, "I don't know. I just got this a single house in the middle of nowhere on an old plantation. That's kind of my vision."
Yeah, well, it exists.
Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, the weather here is just so fucking shit that.
Yeah, I know. I keep hearing about it. It's terrible.
We just need to see the sky. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean,
sky.
I know. And over here, it's hot every day, and we're just trying to stay away from it. Everyone's hiding in the air conditioning.
Yeah,
I played a rooftop gig last night, and it was 102 degrees. And I'd played a church gig that morning. I played a church gig, then, which is a big thing over here, by the way. Like, the church gig scene is massive, and the money that flies around is obscene.
I know. I've got a friend who does it, and he's like, "Yeah, no, it's great." He said, "I could live just on church gigs."
I've got one buddy who plays one song and gets $1,000.
Fuck off! Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, well, that's it.
Mega churches.
I'll put in a request.
Right,
and
exactly.
We'll be over.
We'll just Tim Love. Yeah, he's my brother. He needs to get in on my green card. Yeah, bring him over. There you go.
Well, my wife's from New York, so I reckon I could get.
Yeah,
I reckon I could do it.
What are you still doing in England?
Yeah, I don't know. I did mention it, and she's like, "Well, you know what?" She's like, "I left the States because I fucking hate it, and every time I go back, I'm like, I'm glad I left."
Oh, interesting.
So
was she living in New York?
She grew up in not Manhattan, Long Island.
Oh, Long Island, yeah.
So I don't know, but she grew up on The Cure, Depeche Mode, that whole new romantic English scene in the early 80s.
Right.
That's all. And she just watched English films, just watched English TV shows, and I did the opposite. I grew up on fucking the Eagles, Bruce Springsteen, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and I just watched American TV shows, watched American movies. I'm like, no, I'll move to the States. She's like, no, and we're in this strange kind of push and pull battle between where we should live.
Yeah, man. Well, if you ever want to come down to Atlanta and just kind of feel it out, there's the scene, there's too much work.
Really?
There's more work than you can put your hands on. It's insane.
All right. Okay. Well, I think we got live in our house for 2 years before we can rent it out.
Oh yeah, because that's right.
Anyway, yeah, we just moved a couple of months ago. But man, it's always on the cards, man.
Even if you want to just come over for a visit,
Yeah, maybe. I'll put it to her.
Yeah, come hang out.
I'll bring a guitar and a little pedal board.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be cool.
Yeah,
Dude,
you'd be golden.
It was really, really lovely to catch up with you, man.
Yeah, man. You too. It's been far too long.
Yeah.
Been a long, long time.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, well, it was obviously whenever you left 9 years ago.
Yeah. It was. I think my last session I did in England was it was weird.
I think we did a pub gig. We did a pub gig just before you left.
Did we?
It was a duo. I remember I got talking to someone. I think it was a friend of yours who sold cigarettes. I was like,
like out of his pocket?
No, it was a woman, and she said, "No, I sell cigarettes wholesale." I was like, "Really?"
Who was that?
I got no idea. I was still drinking. So, blonde lady, she must have been in her 50s. And she said, "Yeah, I sell cigarettes wholesale." And I was like, questioning the morality of it. She said, "Would you say the same if I sold chocolate?" I went, "Maybe."
Well, yeah, definitely. If it was, saying that. I mean,
anyway.
Pubs.
Man, anyway,
it's been really nice to catch up with you, man.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely bear in mind coming down to Atlanta and seeing what's what.
Yeah, man, come and hang out. So I'll tell you what, there's more and more English people. I just bumped into a guy yesterday at the game, who went to the high school I was going to go to in Manchester before I moved south.
Wow!
In the same year. So,
really?
I started dropping names, and he was like, "I think I know that person from my primary school."
Wow!
And he's sitting in a pub in Atlanta watching the game, and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?"
It really is a small world.
It is, man. It gets smaller every day. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Anyway, it was a pleasure. Lovely to chat to you, man.
Yeah, you too.
Cool.
All right, take care.